Hello, welcome to another episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club. Checking something right there, everything's looking great. I'm Pat Baer, and I'm doing a video about something in the world of anime that interests me. That's the premise of this ongoing series. And let's just get into it because there's a lot to talk about here in this video. We're talking about all 11 Winter 2023 Isekai. That's right. There's a lot of Isekai this season. That is new shows, that is returning shows, that is ongoing. There are 2 ongoing, a couple season 2s or season 3s, and a bunch of new stuff. And we have to keep talking about them because some of you want to know. And that's not even including the, my voice cracked there, but we'll continue on. That's not even including the anime that is not an Isekai. It is just an overpowered main character, like Baer. Baer is not an Isekai. She's not trapped in the video game world. The video game world hasn't become real. She just plays a VR MMO game. But like chilling in my 30s after being kicked out of the Demon's Army or whatever that's called. It's a long title. Or the Ice Blade Sorcerer goes to school, whatever that, like the Misfitted Demon King Academy. Those aren't Isekai. They're just overpowered main character, and at least one of them is a reincarnation story. But it's not a different world. All the ones I'm going to talk about here, all 11 are Isekai. We'll talk about the one that isn't considered Isekai by the creator, but I think counts. And I always talk about, if you've seen a video where I've talked about it, like, I don't know, did I talk about Isekai from 2022, the fall season? If I did, then I talked about that. But we'll get to it again because it's continuing. Anyway, all of that to say, hey, let's talk about Season 2 of By the Grace of the Gods. Lovely little series. I should say that I'm going to talk a little bit about the show and if I'm watching it or not. I'm watching this. I am not watching it weekly. We are now past the part of the manga where I was caught up with the manga, but now we're going past it. Again, this show, breezy, light. I've talked about Season 1. I enjoyed Season 1. You have to get over the fact that this is an older man, a middle-aged man who's reincarnated as a child. Once you get beyond that, it's fun and light, and the slimes have great personality and are cool. The minor characters are great. Some of the minor characters I'm hoping show up that were in the manga and we haven't seen yet, that maybe they're just going to play around with the order, but they probably cut it because this is a large cast. Totally enjoyable. Also, probably skippable. Okay. I did a screenshot of this. It doesn't even feature the best character in the show. We'll get to him soon. This is Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill. I had to look at the full title. Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill. This is a top tier recommendation. It is light. It is easy. Dude gets summoned. Shouldn't have been summoned. He's got like online groceries as his skill. That just means he can trade gold in this world or anything valuable in this world for credit at an online grocery store in Japan. So he can just make anything. Like cooking gear, or hey, guess what? Ingredients that are taken from Japan boost stats, so he can be a great help. But he's going to live a slow life with his cool, as you can see over here, magical Fenrir, his cool wolf friend, who can talk. There is a slime that we haven't met yet at the time of this recording that rules, and it's just like. Real laid back, real chill, real easy. I don't even think we're going to meet the cool dragon that is in the show because I've read the manga. I don't know if we get there by what we'll cover in a season of the manga. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll also have a fun dragon friend, a young dragon friend. This show is just easy and fun and light, and I recommend it. Another light show that I do recommend as well is Farming Life in Another World. See how there's a bunch of ladies there? Yeah, they're all different races, mythical races that all kind of find themselves living on the land of our farmer dude who got reincarnated and he could get anything he wanted. And he was just like, I want a healthy body because he lived in the hospital all his life. And he's like, and I like to farm because I really liked farming games. And so he gets that. He's incredibly overpowered and a bunch of ladies just think he's neat and want to hang out with him. There's some fun animals that hang out there too. A cool big spider and a bunch of cool wolves. And it's just like very chill and very light. And there's like hundreds of, over 100 chapters of the manga. And it's just very simple. I don't know if you need to watch this one. I enjoy it. I'm blazing through because I got 11 of these to talk about. Let's talk about Handyman Saito in Another World. I don't know if this needed to be adapted to an anime. I think the manga kind of, because it's all short little stories about like, hey, a dude that was very good at being a handyman ends up in a magical world without any powers. He's just a good handyman. That's fun. That's a fun take on it, right? But the stories are very short, and you kind of just explore the world, and it's just kind of vibing what's going on. Like, hey, turns out lockpicking is a really valuable skill. Repairing tools is a valuable skill. This dude just got, like, being a handyman. He comes in handy. They can take that if they want. If they don't want a slogan. They don't need a slogan. This is one of the shows where I'm like, I'm watching it weekly. I don't feel like I need to. I think like I could marathon it and probably maybe even enjoy it more. Obviously, Campfire Cooking is the highlight so far. But there are a ton to check out. Let's talk about one that I liked quite a bit. I'm not fully sold. And also, if you wanted to argue with me that this is not an isekai, I would listen to you. It's called Reborn to Master the Blade, From Hero King to Extraordinary Squire. Now, there are differences between the two worlds. That's the important part. It is from one fantasy world to another fantasy world. You could argue maybe it's the same world and just it's a time difference, but there are monsters and different things that happened between the two. But anyway, this is one of the stories of like, oh, I've been reincarnated as a lady. Weird. It's a dude that was like a king. He was, from Hero King. He was a king. He was like, goddess, thank you so much for the blessing. I'm glad I was able to fulfill things. But if I ever got to live again, I want to focus on being a knight and maybe be a little more selfish if possible. Well, he can't be a knight in this world, but he can be a squire. And he can fight strong opponents as this girl, make some friends that are all ladies, and go and do some stuff. This is one of those shows like, it's animated well, but like, I won't remember that this came out by the end of the year. You know what I mean? And like, I had to really think, I was like, is this actually an isekai or is it just a reincarnation story? No, the world's different enough. I guess it is. It's just two different fantasy worlds. We'll go with it. Here's one I'm not going with. This is on my May list. I started watching it, and then it's now on the, will I go back to this? I don't know. Saving 80,000 gold in another world for my retirement. You got not trapped in another world, just transferring back and forth. A girl gets some mystic abilities before she dies due to her strong will, power, after a lot of bullshit happened to her. And her big plan is, I need to retire. I can use the fact that I can go from one world to another to make money. But, and here's the thing that like paints this character, and I think like tells you a lot about our main character. I'm going to need enough money in both worlds to retire because this transferring back and forth thing might stop working someday. Who thinks about that? What are you talking about? So basically, she needs to make double the amount to retire because and you can see there's a gun in there, and there's a lot of like leaps of logic that don't make any sense, and how she's able to transfer back and forth is explained mostly, which I appreciate because a lot of times these isekais never have an explanation of what's going on outside of like, I died and got transferred. Sometimes it's just like, what's happening? It's like, but it's not that great. I do like a female lady isekai, but there's a better one of those. There's like, there's the Reborn to Master the Blade is probably better than this, and there's another one that's much better than this, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's get into the no's. That's a maybe. The other ones were yes, different degrees of yes. This one's a maybe. Here are the no's. The continuation. It's a 2-core, so it started last season. It's continuing now. The Essence in Shadow. It's just like, what if the character from Kick-Ass from Kick-Ass, what if he went to a fantasy world and also had all these like grand illusions of controlling things from the shadows, and it turned out to be true? And it's not good. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good. And I'm not watching it. I didn't watch it last season. Certainly not going to watch it now. Here's my actual favorite recommendation here. This is the best isekai of this season because it doesn't really focus on it being an isekai. It just helps the main character be a weirdo. It's called The Magical Revolution of the Reincarnated Princess and the Genius Young Lady. It takes the premise, it's playing with a lot here, right? The idea of the villainess that actually isn't wrong. The idea of the reincarnation who has knowledge from the modern Japan and uses that to her advantage. And it's also a love story. Like, legit. The manga downplays it a bit, makes them a little more friendly and a little less romantically linked, but apparently the light novel is very explicit about, not, pointed explicit, I should say, that, hey, this is a Yuri story. These are girls who are falling in love with each other. We are going to see their exploits as their friendship and their relationship develops, and they get caught up in all kinds of things. The idea of someone who loves magic but can't do magic is going to make magic tools. The girl that decides, like, I was supposed to become the queen someday, and I was going to marry the prince, and why is that not happening? And what does that mean for me? And becoming the assistant of this lady, is that just replacing my other task? Is this something I actually want to do? And, oh, am I in love with a girl? Like, all that stuff happens. It's really cool. And it even gets into the explanation of, like, hey, how is it possible that someone could suddenly have a prince fall in love with them and declare another person as a villainess? What's up with that? How would that even work? Kind of explores that in a fun way. There's some other characters that are cool in there too. And it's really good. Really well done. Good animation. Great story. Highly recommend. The Magical Revolution of the Reincarnated Princess and the Genius Young Lady. All right, we got another one here to talk about here. This is a maybe. I started watching this, but I kind of got sick of it. It is the reincarnation of the strongest exorcist in another world. He was an exorcist in a somewhat similar to Japan, but with lots of exorcism abilities. Dude, betrayed, reborn in a fantasy world, does not have magic. He does have all his other abilities. He does what he wants. He has decided to be selfish. There are people that care about him. He is not a full... The idea that he is being selfish this time is a driving force, but also it does not explain why he is bad at being relatable to people and relating well to people and being a full-fledged member of that society. Because he seems to just be obsessed with doing the right thing, but a little oblivious about what's going on. And also, like, definitely it's interesting to watch someone who is not a full villain of the story, but is willing to manipulate people to get what he wants, which in this case is to do the right thing, but also just do whatever it is that he pleases, and does not want to be the center of attention and a hero. Does want to kind of keep to the shadows. I didn't love it. I also think the animation is not great, that it's not much of a budget for this one. So I'm kind of like, maybe I'll come back to it. I don't know. It's an easy watch, but it's not a great watch. Speaking of not a great watch, a season 2 of a show I did not watch the first season of. Yeah, let's talk about The Fruit of Evolution. Before I knew it, my life had it made, season 2. A dude that gets picked on and is just completely dumpstered is part of a whole class. His whole class gets isekai'd. He gets abandoned, eats a fruit of evolution, becomes awesome. The monkey that is in love with him eats the fruit of evolution and becomes a beautiful lady. Lots of creatures that he is real rude and mean to eat that and become beautiful, and everything fucking goes well for this dude, and he sucks, and I don't want to watch it. I gave up on that manga so early. I was like, this is like everything this story is trying to say sucks. We got one more that does not suck. I'm really enjoying it. This is a continuation. It's a 2-core. It's in its 3rd season. It is arguably or arguably not an Isekai. Welcome to Demon School, Irma-kun, Season 3. Lots of questions on this one. The creator, the mangaka creator, says, not an Isekai. I say, he's in the regular world, he goes to the demon world and attends school in the demon world. That's a different world. The demon world is a different world than the human world. Therefore, Irma has been isekai'd, and this is an isekai. It's also funny, even like, fine, you agree with the creator and not me. We're in like a whole like festival arc, but the festival arc is a battle. There's lots of fighting, lots of great funny characters that like didn't have a lot going on in season 1, got more to do in season 2, even more in season 3. I always want to support comedy, because the idea that there's 3 seasons of a comedy show, a fantastical comedy show, that also gets like 21, 24 episodes a season, that's wild and unexpected. And it's just fun. None of Clara in season 3 so far. Clara has really taken a back seat, and that sucks because she is great. Her songs are the best part of season 1. And that's going to do it. All 11 Winter 2023 Isekai. You could argue that at least one of those is not an Isekai. Maybe it's 9, maybe it's 10, whatever. I'm saying there are 11. I talked about all of them. I will, in the next video, to tease it, not be talking about the year 2020 anime or this season anime. I will just be talking about some manga. We're going back to Pat Baer's Manga Club for not one episode only. We'll do another Manga Club because I got a request to cover some stuff. I don't want to say what it is, except that it is some fun manga that I'll be talking about. So, in the comments below, are you going to be watching any of these shows? Maybe let me know what you are watching this season. If you're checking out the new Trigun reimagining, and you're watching, I don't know, Attack on Titan is coming next season. You can't wait for that, so you're just catching up on, you're going to rewatch part 2 of season 3. No, part 2 of season 4. You're going to rewatch that before part 3 of season 4 starts. The first half of part 4. It's a fucking lot. I can't talk about Attack on Titan anymore. Anyway, let me know what you're watching. Are you going to watch any of these shows? Are you watching any of these shows? Did I pique your interest in anything? Do you have ideas for future videos you'd like to see me do? Leave a comment. Leave a like. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.